Hello and welcome to everyone. My name is Helge Winkler. I'm an HP for classical Chinese medicine and psychotherapy. And on this channel I want to discuss texts about medicine, philosophy and faith. I want to start by discussing the most famous Dao De Jing by Lao Tzu. I want to give you a brief historical introduction, and after that we jump into chapter 1. I hope you stay with me and have some fun. So, the Dao De Jing. As I said, I want to start by giving you a brief historical introduction before we start reading and interpreting the main text. And as so often, there's a historical version. There are some facts we know for sure about this work. And then we have a legend around it. And I want to start by telling you the legend of Lao Tzu and the Dao De Jing. Following that legend, Lao Tzu was born in Henan during the 6th century BC, during the Zhou dynasty in China. And he was working as a librarian in the royal court archives. And he was a contemporary of Kunze, who's known as Confucius nowadays. And Confucius asks him for help. So he was older and was seen as wiser and as a kind of teacher to Kunze. And in his 70s, he was foreseeing the decay of the Zhou dynasty and wanted to leave the country. And he did so riding on the back of a black ox in the western direction. And when he was near the border in the Qingling Mountains in the west of Xi'an, he reached a mountain pass, and there was a guarding tower. And the guard living in that tower said to him, "I'll only let you pass if you write down your wisdom for me." So Lao Tzu sits down in this tower and stays there and writes the whole Dao De Jing and hands it over to the guard, and then leaves in the western direction and is never seen again. So that's the main story. There are also interesting additions to that story. For example, the one that when Lao Tzu reaches India, he is becoming one of the teachers of Siddhartha, who's later on becoming the Buddha. So that's the legend side of that. On the historical side, we know the following. The first version that was found was written on bamboo slides and is dated back to the 4th century BC. That version also contains passages from other important Taoist works, and these passages aren't included in later versions. The next version we have was found in the famous Mawang Dui caves and is dated to 200 BC. And that version is actually the one that we can read today. So historians tend to think that there wasn't an actual figure called Lao Tzu, but that there were multiple Taoist authors compiling the text and then adding on a name, an artificial name, to give it more authority. And that was like a common thing in ancient China, to just invent an author to kind of lift up the text, to give it more authority and mysticism. And so that's quite possible. So that's for the historical facts we know. So now we have the legend and the history. And I hope you stay with me and we see each other in chapter 1. Looking forward to it. See you later.